Well, the Winter Olympics kicks off tomorrow in Beijing, but India will not be attending the opening ceremony. This after China chose a torchbearer, a former Chinese soldier who had been in a bloody clash with Indian troops back in 2020. It comes as at least 9 other countries, including the United States, are staging diplomatic boycotts over China's ongoing human rights abuses against Uyghur Muslims. Our next guest spent 4 years in prison in China for calling out human rights abuses, and he fled to the U.S. in 2012. And joining me now to discuss this is Chen Guangcheng, human rights activist, author, and distinguished fellow at the Center for Human Rights at Catholic University of America. We are also joined by Professor William Saunders, director of the Center for Human Rights at Catholic University. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here to talk about human rights in mainland China.
It is so important, and I do want to start with you, Guangcheng.
Yeah.
You know, with everything that you went through personally and what you've seen as far as human rights abuses over in China, how do you feel about the Olympics taking place there?
Yeah, I think that's very dangerous. Yeah, you know, the Communist Party prosecutes their own people in mainland China. A lot of human rights lawyers was in prison. A lot they prosecuted a lot of people in Xinjiang, the Uyghurs, the Tibet, and the activists. So look at that situation. The Western government still tried to participate the Olympic in Beijing. The Communist Party will feel that it's good that all the Western countries legitimate their power. So I think that is very dangerous in the future. So I think all the Western governments shouldn't come to Beijing, and we should boycott it.
And I want to talk about that boycott. Bill, this question is for you. You know, as we mentioned, a number of countries are doing this diplomatic boycott. I want to get your thoughts on that. And do you think that goes far enough?
I don't think it goes far enough, but it's like a necessary first step. The old saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. The Chinese Communist Party is a threat to the entire world. It's a threat to the United States, and it's a threat to its own people. So given that, we should, first of all, not participate in an event that brings them great honor and prestige. So we should boycott the Olympics, but we must do even more.
Yeah, and the FBI, I'm sure you are aware of this, issued a warning to the athletes, and specifically about their cell phones, saying that they should bring a burner phone, don't bring their personal phone over there for fear that might be some malicious cyber activities. Bill, I want to pose this question to you. Any concerns about our athletes over there? What concerns you?
Well, I mean, if you go into communist China, they will steal as much information as they can. They will steal stuff from your phone if they can. They will steal your DNA if they can. If they happen to speak out, Lord knows what could happen to them. I mean, they could be thrown in one of these kind of unofficial jails that Guangcheng calls a black jail. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So it is dangerous. I don't think we should subject our athletes to the risk of being in a place that treats human beings so poorly and violates human rights. So I think there are a number of risks.
Yeah, Guangcheng, what about you? What concerns you for our athletes?
Yeah, I think that is very, very dangerous. The Communist Party will use any opportunity to get any person's private information. Even in the U.S., the Communist Party uses a special machine to get your information from your phone, from your signal. So if you come to mainland China, the Communist Party will try to ask you to download some special app in your phone. They will use that to get your information very easier. So you can see the Communist Party try to use hack to stolen the information in the U.S. How about you come to their hand?
It's so very concerning. Bill, something else I want to talk about, actually specifically at Catholic University. I know the Center for Human Rights published a New Year's declaration on China's human rights abuses. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, it's a kind of, excuse me, a landmark, really, statement. And Guangcheng, as the distinguished fellow at the center, and Bob Fu with China Aid, put this together to document all the human rights abuses that are going on in mainland China. It's called New Year's Declaration. And we want to raise it to the attention of the world and American citizens and your viewers so they know how bad things are. Guangcheng is, was a human rights advocate for many years. He was thrown in prison, then he was put in a kind of house arrest, and he amazingly escaped. But they continue to do that to human rights advocates. So they're friends of his, people he worked with, who have disappeared. They've taken them to unofficial or jails. You can't get them out. You can't help them. There was a good friend of his whose wife had come to America, and she was dying of cancer, and the CCP would not let this man leave China to come to help her, and in fact arrested him and put him in jail. So this kind of things happen. So we want to put a face and name on this. So it's not just some abstract things. Things are happening to people. They're particular human beings who are being abused by the Chinese Communist Party, and we want Americans to know about it.
Yeah, we're almost out of time, but Guangcheng, I want to give you the last word. What would you like people to know about China?
Yeah, I want to let the people know in mainland China, the Communist Party is not the same as the Western government. In mainland China, the political system is a party-state system, where the party control everything. Another thing is the Communist Party is does not represent Chinese people. The Communist Party is a kidnapper. Yeah, the party has kidnapped the country, coerced the government, enslaved the Chinese people. So we have to face the evil and confront the CCP. Yeah, so I think we have to join hands to change China, to help Chinese people to have the democracy, freedom of speech, and constitution.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for what you do and talking with us. Very important. God bless you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.